The following podcast does contain mature language and, more importantly, spoilers for the MSQ of Final Fantasy XIV, up to and including Endwalker. You have been warned, and now, on with the show. From the many realms of Aetheris to the distant reaches of the Two Moons via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 10 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. This episode is being recorded on Saturday, March 19th of 2022. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and today's show is going to be a little different from normal, so let's just cut to the quick. With me, as always, is a vegetarian Calico Makote who forgot to press her tofu. Why did you forget to press your tofu, Meagan?
Because it takes too long, and the recipe didn't call for it.
Always press your tofu.
I didn't realize. Rule number one of tofu. I would have tweeted about it if I knew you were gonna roast me.
Anything on Twitter is fair game for my intros. And with her, speaking of that, with her as always is a Shadowbringer who stayed out of the Shadowlands but is all in on playing in the Wonderlands in a few days. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? I got some sad news, I'm afraid. I actually got myself banned from helping Tataru cook this week. Yeah, I got a little careless while I was helping her make a fruit tray, and I left a banana peel on the floor. As you can imagine, the Lalafell.
Oh my god.
Oh man, my every other week is not complete without hearing you two groan.
See, I always think that I'm gonna know what you're coming at me with because I see dad jokes on the Reddit or on on Tumblr or something. And I'm like, I bet that's the one he's gonna do. No, it never is.
Just you wait till the end of the show.
Well, I chuckled slightly, but when it comes to your dad jokes, that one just fell a little short there, Brandon.
Oh my god!
It's always great to have backup.
Indeed. And we are not alone. As teased last episode, we have a guest with us this time around. Someone who I've had the pleasure of interacting with a few times during my many adventures in Casino RP. Someone who's quite experienced with casinos in Final Fantasy XIV and even beyond. From the Mateus server, the president of the Kokoro Host Club, one of my favorite casino dealers in the entire game, the player behind the Lalafell Ririnji Nananji, or as I like to call him, Riri for short. How you doing, Riri?
Hello, doing good. Ririnji here. Excited to be on the podcast.
It's good to have you on. I've got to say, the first time that you and I are actually talking to each other, most of our interaction has been primarily in game, with me throwing millions and millions of gil into your hands, only to have you throw millions and millions of gil back into mine. For a little background information for those of you who are following, remember that time that I gambled 10 million gil, and then remember that time I gambled 20 million gil in a single game? This is the person that allowed me to do it.
Yeah, we are one of the very few casinos that kind of keeps things with a high maximum.
How often do people bet the maximum? Is Ro just crazy, or is this a common thing?
I would say probably not common at other establishments, but I would say it's probably more common at mine. Just because, I think mine's more catered towards that experience. We get a lot of people who just like very high intensity sort of gambling. And I provide that. So it's every now and again, people, they'll go nuts.
Oh, if I show up and slap down 10 gil, would that be allowed?
No.
So there is a minimum.
Yeah, there is a minimum, at least at mine. I think a lot of the more RP focused casinos, they'll usually allow short minimums like that. But mine starts at 1 mil and then goes on up, kind of depending on what the bank's looking like at the time and other different factors. But yeah, I wouldn't. But I would, if you did come in and you only had that much, I would like refer you to a nice RP casino.
So you would kick me out in the nicest way possible?
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, I'd kick you out very gently and nicely. I would hold your hand and pat you on the back as I kick you out.
The interesting thing about Riri's Casino is that, I mean, I talk to you guys about Casino RP all the time. Riri's Casino is actually one of the few casinos where it's not really as much an RP venue. It's more for just for the straight out gambling aspect of it. So RP is by all means not mandatory.
Yeah, it's kind of a more of a soft RP experience when you come into my establishment. I am an RPer. I came to Mateus specifically like to RP back in the day. But with the gambling, it just, usually the RPers, they're not really looking to like gamble and like spend a lot or, do like high intensity stuff. They're more just like trying to have fun and have like, like a more of a social experience. So, it's like if you got to find where you fit in best and go to the one you like.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. Most casinos, in case you're wondering real quick, Meagan, most casinos that I know tend to have a minimum of like 1,000 or 10,000 gil.
Okay, that's not too bad. So do you own a house? Is that where you do this from?
Yeah, I own a house now. I mean, when I had started hosting casino games, which was kind of like early on in Stormblood, I was just doing everything from Limsa. So I would go to the Aetherite Plaza in Limsa.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Because, it's a very easily accessible location. And I would start there and I would just host my gambling publicly there. At the time, there was no real gambling culture, at least on this DC. So I would get a lot of people who would ask questions like, are you going to scam me? Or I'd get a lot of like PMs of like, that's against the TOS, even though it wasn't. And all sorts of stuff. So it was a little bit harder, but I just was right there on the streets at first. Just being a street vendor. It probably looked pretty shady to most people.
Yeah. No, I remember being in Limsa and like seeing shouts of like, come gamble, blah, 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 this much chance of winning. And I was always like, that's a scam. And I would never go.
Actually, I would never do shouts because most people thought they were scams. And I just was like, oh, it's a waste of time. I only ever advertised via the Party Finder because of that, and it was actually kind of rough back in those days. Like I said, there wasn't a big gambling culture, so people were kind of skeptical. It's hard to get people in. At that time, I would sometimes I would like have my store open for like a good 8 hours, and only have like 2 or 3 people even hit you up on it and ask about it. And that was when I had like no minimums. I didn't even have minimums. Yeah, I started there, and eventually, like, I have an FC house that I bought, and I have like a personal house.
Nice.
And so I do the gambling out of the personal house, and then my FC house is just like right above my personal house in Shirogane.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I have a house in Syncrodania, so it's not very fancy, but yeah, that's really cool. Sure, God, I knew.
So, one question I have, and I mean, we might as well be talking about this since we're kind of into it already. You did mention about like how you'd get all these tells about like, gambling's against the TOS, you can't do that and such like that. This is one thing that I have not had to run into too much. I had one person send me a whisper about that when they saw my Party Finder message for when I was doing it, and I said, no, it's not. How do you respond to those tells, or like how do you explain it to players when they question you about the legality of doing player run gambling?
So I actually had basically a canned response. So like I had like a pre-built response for this, where I would just tell them like, hey, it's not, and then I would provide them like a link to the forum post, because there is like an official forum post on the official Final Fantasy forums, where a GM does address the matter and basically say, hey, gambling, it's basically a trade. Do you? The only thing that they're really worried about is raffling. But they're only worried about raffling because you can't like substantiate that like it wasn't rigged. Like there's really no way to verify what your intentions were, good or bad. Because you know you could just pull out a name for anybody on a raffle. So that's the only one that they care about. But yeah, I just have like a canned response that explains that basically. But I've not had that for a long time now. But that when I first started, all the time, like people would message me that.
Gotcha.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just curious, like, how does the game actually work? Like, run me through a typical, like, I'm coming to the casino and I want to place a bet. What do I got to do? How do I play? All that stuff.
So like generally, you know, you'd probably see an advertisement on the party finder. Say if you know you're just coming into my place, you would come in, we just say hello. I would hand you a link to my card. So I have like a card.co site. A lot of RPers use that. A lot of FCs use that to like post about either their characters or their FCs. I use it to do for my events and for my gambling activities. So I'll hand them that, and it has like a whole list of the rules. You would basically then just look at the rules, take your time, choose which type of game that you want to play, and then you know you trade in your money. So all bets are traded to be placed. So you trade in 1-2 mil, whatever you want to do. We start the game. All the games are done using the /random function built into the game. So you do /random, and that'll pull a dice between 1 and 99. You can also do things like /random and then choose your maximum number. So /random 100, then it'll be 1 to 100. And then the games are just played off of different rules depending on how those dice land. And yeah, you win or you lose money depending on how your RNG goes that day.
That's all dice rolls?
Yep, all dice rolls. And you know, it's very similar to. I think the rules are a lot different how people do things in Final Fantasy, but generally it's a lot similar to like in games like WoW and how they would do like their gambling, or like Final Fantasy 11 back in the day as well.
I never did gambling in WoW. I had no idea that existed.
Yeah, neither did I. That's new to me.
I've heard of a little bit of gambling in WoW, but there wasn't too much of it. There's like far less gambling in WoW than there is in 14, even when gambling in 14 was just kind of a niche thing.
There's a lot less like RP stuff in WoW too.
Yeah, that's also true. And if you just think if WoW had player housing and venues and stuff like that, there might be more.
I think that's probably why you don't see it in WoW is because of you don't have like a party finder, you don't have the player housing. Because whenever I was in WoW back in the day, and there was people doing the gambling, they'd usually be in like was it Goldshire or they'd be like in Stormwind.
Goldshire.
So like so they'd be in like the RP sort of like centric areas, and just kind of like doing some talking there. I could have run past it in
Goldshire. Never known. There's so much happening.
You totally could have, yeah.
Now, remember, we're talking about CRP here, not ERP.
You know,
there's a lot that goes down there.
You see two people in their underwear crouching in the corner. Maybe they're rolling dice. You don't know.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe they lost their clothes gambling.
Strip poker.
Perfect explanation there.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Strip poker.
That's why that night elf is naked.
She lost everything, okay? Have some sympathy.
Yeah. Well, so having it in Goldshire would make sense as to why I've never seen it, because that would require me to have been Alliance. And no.
You don't play both sides? Well, I used to because I'm a lore nerd and I had to know both sides of the lore. But then, you know, they pooped on the lore, so.
They sure did.
They can, the funny thing with that is it may be rolling a lot of dice, but you can come close to mimicking, like, say, card games. Most casinos that I've gone to will do blackjack, where you do a random 1 to 13, and they just have 11, 12, and 13 represent your jack, queen, and king. So they'll do it that way. Or Riri has one of my favorite games that I've played in any casino is Riri actually runs a style of poker that no one else, I've never seen poker anywhere but in Riri's place. And it's basically, instead of using, you don't have face cards included, it's just do 5 rolls of random, use the first number, which is going to be 1 through 9, and you basically play poker as if you had the cards from 1 through 9, and you make hands that way.
Cool. I have no idea how to make poker hands. I'm kind of surprised that you don't use like triple triad in any way. Like
Ace's Casino does.
Yeah, Ace does, and I personally like playing, and I play triple triad at Ace's. They'd actually switch the rules there upon request.
How do they do it?
So what they used to do is they used to have, they had specific rules that they would play, but now they do random cards, random rules. So you don't really know what you're going to get, like what the rules are going to be or what cards you're going to have, which is the way that I prefer to play. So I do appreciate that they switched up those rules when I asked them to play like that with me. But yeah, there are ones that do that do the triple triad. I think I'd like to do it, but I think because I do the higher maximums, I think and because it's not like an RP situation, it's more usually more fast sort of things. Like, I don't know how well it would work at mine, but I love playing triple triad. It's really fun, and some do offer it.
I will totally play you triple triad for 1,000,000 gil next time using Ace's rules.
Oh man. See, I was thinking it'd be cool.
Might have to add it to the list.
If you made a deck out of basic cards that everybody has and be like, this is the deck that you play when you come here, and just made it really random rules or something, then it could be more just who gets to go first, but you still have that human error factor. You could still screw it up.
Yeah, well, they do have that in the actual in-game triple triad tournaments that they have at the Gold Saucer. It's you have a deck that you pick the cards from. Pretty fun stuff. You ever tried that? And I used to do. They don't do this as much, but they used to have player ran triple triad tournaments.
Oh yeah.
And I really enjoyed going to those because you go to those. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Usually the winners would win a couple mil. And you have fun doing it. They don't do as many tournaments, though, as they used to.
That's funny. Because, that would be fun. But, I mean, I can't imagine a better place to run a tournament than a casino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, definitely ideas. Maybe I'll have to host my own tournament one day.
One question that I have for you is, I know that for me to get into a position where I could actually start running a table, I felt I needed to have an absurd amount of gil. And I don't even do the maximums that you do. I just do a maximum bet of 1,000,000 gil. But how did you get to be in the position in the first place where you had enough gil where you felt like you had enough of a bank in order to do the kind of high stakes gambling that you do right now?
Well, it definitely was an evolution because I didn't always start off with the high maximums that I do now. But generally, I guess for funding, which I didn't actually, when I started doing the gambling stuff, I didn't really start off with a lot. I might have had I don't know, 10 mil on me at the time. So I didn't start with very much at all. But I don't craft. I do raid. So I used to do a lot of extremes. I used to do some savage raiding. So I would sell the different mats that I would get from that. And I do a lot of market boarding and I get into a lot of niche item sellings and a lot of niche parts of the market to basically make a lot of gil just passively. So yeah, a lot of marketeering basically. And like for instance, like and because I've also been playing for so long, like I started in ARR. So I've also had like years and years to like build up like market strategies and like, save up all my gil, having a few houses now, and a lot of furniture and stuff. For instance, like in Heaven's Sword, I was able to do a lot of marketing off of like material meldings, like materia. Because at least for a while back in the day, like a grade 6 materia was like selling for 1 mil on my server, like a piece. So I would like watch the market board, and I would just wait for people to sell for under 1 mil, and then I would just buy it, and then I would put it back up for 1 mil. So I'd like do a lot of stuff like that. I mean, now it's a little bit more advanced and intricate, some of the stuff that I do for market boarding. But yeah, I do a lot of market boarding stuff to make gil on the side. And if I like run out of money because maybe someone comes in and they clear me out, I'll just go market board for a while until I have enough money to start up again.
One thing about your casino that's very different from a lot of the other casinos, and you and I have talked about this in game 2, is that a lot of your games are pretty much even odds, where it doesn't really favor the house a heck of a lot, where most of the casinos that you go to in Final Fantasy XIV, for those of you who haven't done any of this yet, most games will tend to have odds that favor the house, or if it's an even odds game, like say playing blackjack against the dealer, then the payout is not 2 for 1. It's usually like 1.5 payout to 1. So
like a real casino,
right? So what has been your strategy there? Is that why is your casino, I guess, in that regard, why have you chosen to go so different from what the current kind of mainstream in the casino scene seems to be?
Why are you going against the casino meta?
Yeah, I'd say, well, exactly. I mean, there definitely, that's actually a good word for it, is the casino meta.
Right.
Because there is definitely a casino meta now that is a lot different than, maybe the 1 or 2 other people who were doing it when I had first started. Like now I think, and this is like maybe kind of expands to like RP in general, but a lot of the casinos now and a lot of the RP venues, I mean, people are basically just role-playing capitalism, right? Like when you go in, like say to a casino, their rules aren't really in the favor of the people. To me, it's not really like necessarily like you're going in just to have like a fun gambling experience. A lot of times it's going in for like more of the social experience, if anything. And then if you happen to win, like you win. Yeah. And they kind of run them like businesses, right? Like you see them in the party finders, and they'll have like they're hiring positions for like people to work at their casinos, and like it's to me it's like like I said, it's like RPing capitalism, where I'm trying to more do like I'm RPing a gambling experience, where like it's like more of like
you don't care if
high
you have
intensity just gambling. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Like I care about fun gambling, and some of the fun to gambling is being able to lose, both for like the person who's coming in and to me, for the casino dealer. Like I can't imagine, like it would be so boring if I was sitting there winning all day. There's not like a story to tell. There's not like, it doesn't feel like an epic battle that we just went through, right? Of these dice rolls going back and forth. So I offer just a more of a if you are a person with like an addictive gambling problem, I'm more the casino to go to. Where like if you're looking for like the social experience and you don't really mind that, like, okay, yeah, you might get, the games aren't so fair, like go to theirs, I guess. But yeah, I think what I do for me personally in having fair games is more fun. It's a little bit more epic on my side, and people assume that because my games are fair that I don't win, and that I would come out negative a lot. But because a lot of people enjoy my experience, I get a lot of repeat customers, and a lot of people come in, and the gil comes, the gil goes, and sometimes I might lose a lot from one person, but win another a lot from another, and it all ends up coming out pretty good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't consider the feelings of the person running it, like, because we're so used to casinos being like a corporation or a company or something. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense to be like, oh yeah, you want to gamble too.
Yeah, I want to be able to like gamble myself, and a lot of my games are like kind of me against the other person. Well, at least two of them are.
Mhm.
It's kind of just like a head-to-head battle, right? Like say poker
Yeah.
and death roll. Those are really head-to-head battle games where I could win, the other person could win. Nobody really knows, but like in those seconds in between the dice rolls, right? Like it's a very intense experience.
Mhm.
Like say for instance, when you're doing poker, say if you do your five cards. If you got something pretty high, for that instance, like you're feeling good, you're thinking, holy crap, I'm about to win. I might draw 4 cards, and maybe at the end of those 4 cards, it might look like I'm gonna win. Like you might be freaking out. And in between
Can testify to this experience.
yeah, he could probably testify. Yeah, for sure. And in between those like last 10 seconds of like that 4th and that 5th card for me, right? Like you're in a loophole, like you're in a time bubble. Like you're sweating, you're freaking out. That 10 seconds feels like an hour basically. And then I hit my last and we see if you win or lose. And in those moments, like that's what it's really, it's not about the like the gill, right? It's about the fun you're having in between those 10 seconds of not knowing how it's about to go.
That right there sums up why I like Riri's Casino. I think better than any other because of that moment, especially on poker there. Because both times the 10 and the 20 million bet. I think both of those games it came down to the last card. Like it could have gone either way on either of those.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's usually how it ends up. Or if we're doing death roll, a lot of the times at the very end, we might have a very intense match where we're both like say rolling a 2 out of 2. And it's just very intense thing. Like it's like who's gonna win here? And on both sides, like on me, I'm like, oh, this is pretty intense. And I mean, even if it's say if it's only like 10 or they do the maximum, like it's not going to clear me out or anything, but it's definitely more exciting than if someone just came in and bet 10K, right? Like I can get excited over that because I'm not at that type of that type of money just doesn't excite me in the game anymore. So like I got when that person comes in, they want to spend the 20s and it's a fun time.
I feel like this is a question that's almost as sensitive as asking someone how old they are or what their weight is, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. How much gil do you have in 14 right now?
Well, I'll say that always fluctuates. Basically like I have my small, I have my large FC house. I consider those like liquid assets. So if we're just looking at like assets, like how much do I have? Like, yeah, it would be a very large amount into like the billions. But like obviously my actual bank just flows, in and out depending on the day. And also at the end of the year, I've done this 3 years in a row now. So at the end of the year, every year on Christmas Eve, I host a party for the community, and it's just whoever's on Christmas Eve. They're the only people who know about it. I only advertise that day. And so I do like an event in my basement where we play a game, and I basically give away all my casino winnings. Because now I'm at the point where like I have my houses, I have my furniture the way I like it. I got my glams, right? So there's not actually like a financial like incentive for me to like I don't care like about trying to like amass stupid amounts of money. So like at the end of the year, I just give it all away basically, and then start over. So now, I gave all my money away back on Christmas Eve, for last year. So now I did start at 0, but now I'm back into the 100, plus mil category, just holding in my bank at the moment. So yeah, it all just fluctuates, and then I give it away at the end of the year in a nice party for everybody.
Crazy stuff. Brandon, do you have any questions for Riri before I ask my last one as far as casino stuff goes?
No, I don't. I think you've covered everything I was thinking of asking.
All right. I guess my last question before we kind of shift gears and move on to our regular random shenanigans, Riri, is I know that I'm right now. I don't have a house in 14. There is a venue called the House of Eden, who I've been a contributor to and a participant in and stuff like that. And they've made this casino-like room, and I've funded them on some things, and they let me run my casino activities out of that room. So I've had that room to work out of. But I don't have a house yet. It's one reason why I've been doing the Gil racing that I have been for 6.1. I'm still very fresh, very new as far as doing this kind of thing and getting this thing kind of going. So my question for you is, for myself or for anyone listening in who is interested in not even necessarily just starting a casino thing, but just starting any kind of venue or a player run activity thing, because you do more than just the gambling stuff as well. Do you have any advice for people trying to get into this as far as being a dealer or being an event host?
For people who are trying to maybe get into it, I would say, maybe some of the stuff would be like, well, one, you can probably start doing what you're doing at with less than what you think you need. Like I said, I just started off just doing this on the streets, right? I didn't have any houses at the time. I'm just right there on the streets, right? So if you want, find yourself a nice place on a nice corner somewhere in a public area, find a nice do it in your apartment.
Nowadays we've got apartments. I don't think you had apartments when you were starting, though. If you were all the way back in, what did you say?
I think they did, but I think I was using I forget what I was using. I think I was using my apartment for RP stuff at the time. So I think that's why I went to just straight on the streets. I think they did by the time I had started, but not when I first started playing in A Realm Reborn, they didn't. But yeah, if you're trying to start, you can start with a lot less than you have. And I think maybe the biggest thing to tell people is just whatever it is, if it's a venue for an event or, gambling, whatever, just it's about the fun. And I would tell everybody, don't make it your second job. I've been at a lot of event places, whether it be bars or clubs, casinos, whatever have you, that people like. And they turn them into second jobs, and then everyone hates it, and then they all quit, and then basically someone else tries to do the same thing, and it all kind of goes in this revolving circle of people making these events and then taking them too seriously and then quitting. So yeah, don't take it too seriously. Just have some fun. Treat your staff well if you got them. Those would be my advices, I think.
I think it makes sense that you try to make the gambling fun for you too, because I always think that when these people are running these events, they're oh man, that must be such hard work for them, and everybody else is having so much more fun than them. That's got to get draining after a while. But yeah, it seems like you have the right mindset to make sure that you're also enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think since I've been doing it for so long, and when did Stormblood come out? I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that now. Because I've been doing it so long, you're gonna have to have a chill attitude if you're gonna be doing it for years. Especially chill money attitude towards it. You can't be worried about the comings and goings of your Gil.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, Ro, I don't think the solution to your addiction is to become a supplier.
Probably not. But here's the thing, though, right? It's one of the things. As far as the game, I will say that the games I run are very much in line and kind of along the same principles as most of the other casinos out there. So the whole capitalism geared ones. So yeah, my game definitely does have a bit of a favoring on the house and stuff like that. At the same time, though, the game that I run is a little different. There's one dice game that I run, And it's the simple basic principle on it is 590 or higher, you win twice your bet back. If it's 950 or higher, you win 3 times your bet back, and 999 you get 7 times back. Lower than 590, you lose. That's the basic principle of it, and there are a lot of places that run that. I run that game, but I have like 30 different secret numbers that if they're rolled, something different happens. So that's kind of like my way to introduce a little more fun into it. It also makes the odds and the payout a little closer to being even odds. Like, for instance, if someone rolls a 7, just a single 7, then I say 7 might be a losing number, but it's always lucky here. You win triple your payout. And so when there are moments like that happen, it just makes the experience more fun. Someone who's new to my table may think that they've lost, but then they find out, oh my gosh, I just won triple. It gives them a reason to come back. And I guess Riri, your casino gives people a lot of great reasons to come back as far as it being even odds and stuff. And so I've kind of taken I'd say what I do has kind of taken a little bit of inspiration from what you're doing, but still sticking to what a lot of the other places are doing at the same time, because I am trying to grow my guild, and at the same time, I don't think I have the time to do all the market boarding that you do that makes you earn your guild, and I don't do any extremes at all. So I have a path, but once I have, gosh, I really hope I can get a place in 6.1. Because once I do have a place, then I definitely see myself probably switching gears to being a lot more similar to what you do. But I wanted to say a big reason why I wanted to have you on the show here is because not only to just share what you do, promote what you do, and I think people should definitely check your place out, but I think that ultimately you do the casino experience in 14 the right way, and I do respect and appreciate that.
Oh, well, definitely, thanks for saying that and feeling like it's the right way. I think it's at least the fun way.
Well, and
like you're saying, like with yeah, it's all about having fun. And I would say to your point of like, hey, you want to make sure you make some money too. I would just say to that, I mean, you definitely can run in, the type of games that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you've been in there, you see people win, they lose, it all comes and goes, and it all works out in the end,
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do that, that's maybe my third piece of advice is just don't be afraid. You gotta throw your guild on the line sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for spending some time to talk with us about that side of things. I mean, feel free to stick around and chat with us about all the other shenanigans that we usually talk about here. I mean, usually we start the show by just simply saying what we've been up to. So, but before I let Meagan rant and rave about P4S, as you're the guest here, Riri, what have you been up to in Final Fantasy 14 lately?
14 lately? Well, I mean, there's always, the casino, of course. I had that open just this morning. Had some regulars in and whatnot. Always fun. But now that we're in, Endwalker territory, me having played since A Realm Reborn, I'm very glad that we kind of, got the story finally wrapped up. And I'm actually trying to get a lot of the odds and ends done, like lore-wise, before we go into like the unknown territory of 6.1 plus, and the adventures that lie there. So I've been doing stuff like trying to do the Beast Tribe quest and getting those all out of the way. Some of the ones I missed. Trying to do like some of the more like lore stuff, like the job quest that I missed, and different side quests that I want lore information on. Yeah, really tying up those loose ends before we go into like the next generation of content for this game, basically.
Awesome. I've been doing a little bit of the same Beast Tribes. I'm still working on the Stormblood Beast Tribes just because that gratuity emote that lets you toss skill, I feel like that is almost mandatory if you're going to run a casino, that you need to have that emote. So I've been slowly making progress on that.
Who gives that one?
Nice.
Stormblood Beast Tribe quest. So you have to do
It's from the
Uh,
Allied
the-
Tribe Quest reward in that expansion.
right.
Yeah.
So the Nanata, the fish people that I always forget their name.
The Namazu.
Namazu. Yeah.
The Namazu,
Namazu!
and then the turtle, the Kojin.
The Kojin.
I got I got the little storm boxes.
Mhm.
I got a golden Namazu out of one of those.
Nice.
Nice.
He follows me around. He has little squeaky feet. I love him.
So, Ro, who are you having the most fun with? Which tribe are you enjoying the most out of that?
I've yet to dive into Namazu, so between Kojin and Nananja, having more fun with Nanata, actually. The Kojin's fine and stuff, but you know what? Underwater stuff in WoW usually annoyed the heck out of me. It doesn't annoy me as much in 14, but it's still not a big thing of mine.
You can mount up and go like mount speed underwater.
True.
Yeah, that's
which is
that's why it's good.
Right, that is why it is better. But it's still, I don't know. I think WoW just implanted a bias in me against underwater levels. So
See, I used to run feral druid, so swimming was like, yeah, I'm a walrus.
nice.
If you weren't a druid or if you weren't like a warlock, I think swimming was not your friend usually.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think it was like Cataclysm had the underwater zone as one of the very first zones, and I was like having a blast. And then Ward's playing a paladin, and he's like, "This zone sucks," and I'm like, "Really? I love it."
I love that zone for its scale, but everything else about it was just like, ugh.
It looked very cool. It
Yeah,
was like a cool change.
It really
to
was.
what we normally had. And also I was a druid, so I was like, ugh. I think at that point I could be an orca, which made me very happy.
Yeah.
Oh, who doesn't
Yeah,
love
they
orcas?
just come out with that around then.
Oh man. That's like the one thing I miss from WoW is having like a transformation class and having a like true pet class. Like you can go out and tame pets. That's all I want.
I mean, they still don't have a Beastmaster job in 14, so
Because they'll make it a limited job and then we'll all hate it.
yeah, that's fair. That's probably a very valid point. But Meagan, how about P4S, huh?
Oh my god. Okay, so we're on phase 2. So there's two phases. Phase 1 is all you see in normal mode. And then after you beat him up to 50%, and then he switches to phase 2 and he gets all his health back and he turns into a big Bara demon with his titties out. Literally, look him up. And it's so complicated that our raid lead pulled us all into like a video chat and pulled up like a slide presentation to like explain to us the starting mechanics. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to link you the freaking PowerPoint website? Because Jesus Christ. And so we are now on phase 4 of phase 2, I think. We've got like 2 phases until we beat it. So it's like finale and curtain call or something like that, because he's a huge theater nerd. But okay, look, man, I'm pretty well. Okay, P3S was pretty dang complicated, but I think this one is worse. It's a lot worse, and it's a lot of like, if you screw up, you are blowing up the entire raid, and I'm I'm okay, but I'm not great, and I can't. So I've gotten to the point where I am getting green parses pretty regularly as Bard, and one time I got a blue, and that was like, whoa. But like Bard rotation is obnoxiously complicated. And I tried going Dancer one time, and I got a blue parse like immediately, and I'm like, oh my god, I should just be Dancer. But then and they like didn't even pressure me. They're like, oh no, it's fine. You just won't do as much damage, and we won't do as much damage, and that's fine. And then my friggin' internal EP is like, no, you must do more damage. I'm like, ah. So I'm perma Bard. I've accepted my fate. It's a lot of personal responsibility. And it's not just like you'll kill yourself, it's like you'll kill the entire raid. and it's all very highly coordinated. There's a lot of like, you have to be the first person away, or you have to do this or that. You have to keep track of like, there's like a whole there's several tether sequences. There's a bunch of like towers that need to be soaked, and then the big final one that we're going to be probably working on tomorrow is where he hits everybody in like a certain order, and then you have to remember what order you were hit in and like get into a certain place to soak a certain thing because of the order you were hit in. Oh boy. And the other thing that was really funny is that our main tank is from New Zealand, where they do not have daylight savings time.
Oh.
We showed up an hour late to raid, and we're all super pissed. And he shows up, and he's like, "What?" And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm in New Zealand. We don't do that." And we're like, "What?" And then he's like, "No, this is great. Like, it starts an hour sooner, so I can go to bed sooner. This is great." But yeah, so that was funny. But yeah, it's literally the way that we do it is we call it shotgun pulls, where we just keep pulling over and over again and like practicing the one mechanic that we're up to until we get past it, and then we pretty much will wipe because we don't know the next mechanic. Then we sit down and explain the next mechanic, and then we shotgun pulls until we get that down, and then we sit down and explain the next mechanic with slides and like a video call, and then yeah. And then, so it's like, you're just inching forward constantly. And hopefully this week we will get to the end because we're really close. And sorry.
So it's okay. Have you tracked how many pulls you have on P4S right now?
No one, I kind of don't want to know. Like, I have to have, the gear repair thing up, like the thing that reduces your repair bills up, or my gear will break, like, not even halfway through raid. Like, we die. It is, that's the thing when when you guys are like, oh, I want to try Elden Ring, but I don't know if I like, but I don't like Savage Raiding. I'm like, sir, you are not yet used to death.
So what you're telling me is I need to play Elden Ring, die about a couple hundred times, and then maybe I'll be mentally prepared to try Savage.
Yeah, that, and also like learn a dance routine.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll stick to normals, thanks.
We're so close. We're so close.
Well, you got 2 weeks till next episode, so I have faith in you guys. Next episode's going to be your victory lap.
I really hope so. I think I know we can do it. It's just like,
yeah.
Will everybody not mess up one time? That's all we need. There's 8 of us.
Just one shot. Yeah.
Start shipping them their energy drink of choice.
God.
Brandon, what have you been up to? Has your life improved a bit more to the point where you're able to get in the game a bit more often? I feel like I've seen you in game a little more.
It's true. I don't remember if I talked about this in the last episode, but I have quit the job that has required me to travel every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a new job here in Denver that I start on Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to it. For a multitude of reasons I won't get into here because this is a podcast reborn, not a Brandon's job reborn, even though it is. I've been basically just kind of looking forward to 6.1 and doing things to get prepped for it. I completed all the role quests on my alt, so got through all those a second time. I actually did the last one this morning. I did the level 90 healer role quest completion on White Mage, which, by the way, I can now unequivocally say that White Mage is my least favorite healer. And I haven't leveled Astrologian yet. That's how much fun I had with this. Let me tell you.
So Sage is better than White Mage.
I don't know if it's better, but it's definitely more my play style, both Sage and Scholar. I haven't tried Astro yet, but I just had some not fun times trying to heal things as White Mage. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I've played it a bunch before, but it's just not to my taste anymore.
Can I add one more thing? Sorry that I did.
It's fine.
I healed P1S and P2S because our normal healer didn't show up. And it was,
oh my gosh.
It was one of the most stressful things I have ever done. Oh my god, I did a sage, and but I was doing it with a scholar, so we had like double shields, but we were also like overriding each other's shields.
Oh, don't they tell you not to run that combination for that exact reason?
Yes. But he was like, I basically just let you do the most. And like just spot healed when you weren't. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, man, what's up with this? First, you didn't press your tofu. Now you're stacking these shields. Come on.
Oh my god. Well, the thing is, with shield healers, a ton of like your regen and your procs and your stuff is based on like if your shield gets eaten or absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're overriding each other's shields, then it's like, oh no, I'm not getting my procs.
I mean, you forgot to press your tofu. Did you remember to press cardia?
Oh my god. Why are you roasting me over the tofu?
Well, I mean, I figured the tofu did it enough for you.
No, the tofu did not roast because it was wet.
So my goals for this episode title is to somehow combine tofu pressing and casinos in the same title.
Oh my god.
That is my challenge.
Oh man. So the other thing I've been doing is I noticed the 2 side quest prerequisites for the Arcasadara tribal quests. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and go knock those out so I can just have it ready on day 1. If you have not done those side quests, and I wouldn't blame you if you have, they're just little hidden away things in Thavnir. They were stupidly fun. Like, in terms of the story, I mean, the quests are just standard Final Fantasy gameplay, but I enjoyed the story in them so much. I'm like, okay, I have a good idea for what the cast of characters for the Arcasadara tribal quests are going to be like, and I am really looking forward to it because they're going to be hysterical. One of them involves...
I did not realize there were prerequisites that you could already start working on.
Yeah, they listed them in kind of like the little the live letter slides where it says, players must complete a side quest change starting with, this quest and this other quest. I don't remember the exact names. Yeah, but one of them, if you've unlocked flying, one of the what the heck are they called? The Ether Current quests was the starter quest for that chain. It involves that Al Ra girl who's terrified of Arcasadara. And she's like, oh my God, why are they letting these people run around? They're like, oh, you've talked to our cousins over in the steppe. Yeah, they're psychopaths. We're perfectly fine here. And you just basically keep on going with her little adventures and watch her grow into a, someone who's like terrified anytime she sees someone that looks vaguely elephant shaped to, all right, I can live with you people now.
Interesting. I remember the quest you're talking about, at least the Ether Current one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
Those
can't
quests
fly.
are really good.
I can't fly going all the way back to Stormblood because Ward just gets flying and then he just double mounts and flies me around. No. I'm just so goddamn lazy.
Look, I know this is a mature themed podcast, but we really don't need to hear you about mounting Ward.
He gets out his chocobo and he's like, hey, what?
I don't want to know what he calls it, Meagan.
Oh my goodness.
I ride side saddle, baby.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I know that like I need to do it for the lore. I'm so chronically lazy. Like all I want to do is log in and raid and then log out. I'm terrible. I've gotten like 80% of the way through the ranged GPS quest. And I also I finished leveling up Monk so I can do the melee GPS quest. Whenever I log on, I'm like, let's do Party Finder and get my tomes, and then I'm like, okay, bye. I don't know. It's the gremlin ADD brain.
I guess so. I mean, I'm in this game primarily for story, so the more of it I get to see, and apparently the more of it I get to see twice because I'm still playing alts.
Right.
The happier I am. I also I finally got around to unlocking one of the 2 optional dungeons needed for the expert roulette. I don't know how, but I had completely forgotten that the end of the friggin' Stigma Dreamscape quest leads you to where the friggin' Omicrons are trying to open up a cafe in that abandoned area in Ultima Thule.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to come back later and figure it out in terms of either a tribe quest chain or some other sort of side content. But this is going to be hilarious, and I can't wait.
Oh, man.
So you've done that one. So you have not unlocked Smileton yet.
I have the quest. I've been, focused on grinding out levels, and especially with the Moogle event going on, getting more of those Moogle tombstones.
yeah.
The mounts I'm missing. I just keep forgetting to take a couple of minutes and queue up for it as a DPS because I'm not confident enough in my tanking or healing ability to do it at an expert roulette level. But I just need to go through there and get that unlocked so I can just check it off the list more than anything.
I think Smelton's pretty fun. It's cute.
Oh, it's a great dungeon. I love it. I keep not setting enough time aside to just unlock it so I can get it done in the expert roulette.
Smileton is my favorite expert dungeon to run of the roulette. If I get Smileton, I'm literally smiling. If I get Dead Ends, I'm crying inside.
Yeah.
If I get Stigma Dreamscape, I'm like, okay.
I like Sigma Dreamscape because I just rock out the whole time.
Exactly. I mean, Sigma Dreamscape, it has great background music and it has a bunch of robots, so I'm happy with that. Smileton's also great because it just looks so like it's like a freaking Escher painting or something. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's fun too. But
it's so jazzy.
It really is.
Song. Oh my god, I've had that jazzy version of the theme in my head so much. Like I'll just be in the kitchen cooking, and I'm just like do 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 do. Oh my god, great!
Fun fact: that music, "Carrots of Happiness," is one of the pieces of music that I run in the casino room.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, did you get the orchestrion roll for it?
Yes.
Does it drop out of that dungeon?
Yes.
Crap. Okay, I need to start farming it because that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect.
It's pretty cheap on Market Board though too. It's Carrots of Happiness.
Oh well, then forget that. I'm going to get that.
Yeah, all orchestron rolls are cheap.
That's good because let me tell you, I keep hearing what the heck are they call? I keep hearing horror stories of people trying to farm the Starbird minion out of dead ends, and I'm just going,
oh my god!
Oh, I'm so glad I haven't had that come up in expert roulette once for me.
I've seen it drop one time, and word got it.
I've literally run dead ends at least 100 times, and I have not even seen it drop for anyone.
I just I've gotten to the point I've done dead ends so much that I'm just narrating along with Meagan, and I'm just like, the sickness came, shut up, get out of my face, bird.
Freaking David Attenborough, this shit.
You did mention the Moogle Treasure Trove though, so it's kind of a good segue to the one only outside of our casino talk, the only kind of structured question topic that I had for all of you here is Moogle Treasure Trove is going on from now until the launch of 6.1. So it's basically if you run older content like MSQ Roulette, some of the older Alliance raids and stuff like that. They got
and PvP.
PvP. I really need to do PvP for Tombstones. I keep forgetting. Yeah,
Rival Wings is really fun. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, that one's good. And the Frontline Roulette is just so much good XP.
Yeah, if you're leveling an alt for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've been up to. I was like,
also. If you queue up as the job that you want the XP for, you can switch when you're inside it, and the XP will still go to the job that you queued up as.
I mean, I don't have a choice but to do that. I've been, using the roulettes to level all my alt jobs. I don't have their PvP hotbar set up except on Bard. So it's like if I forget to even switch before the match starts, which I have done several times, I'm running around going, "Oh dear God, why are all these buttons in the wrong place? Oh wait, I didn't fix my bars before I came in here. Oh, I can't switch to Bard. Someone kill me, please."
So my question for the three of you, and Riri, it's been a little bit since you've talked here, so I'll let you answer this one first. Are you participating much? Are there any of these items that you're going after? I would imagine, considering you've been playing since A Realm Reborn, there might not be as many things on the list that are interesting you, but anything you want to grab from this?
Yeah, I think definitely now, because they've done so many of these events, plus I've done just playing for so long. Yeah, there's not usually a lot of items that I go for except for like the special, like they'll have that 100, token item or whatever that's a little special.
Mhm.
I usually go for that. But yeah, I always participate and I'm always excited for the PvP. So like I'm a big PvPer myself. I have like the Limsa Warsteed from getting 100 wins in the front lines and a couple other different like PvP achievements. So I'm pretty big into it, and I love doing the rival wings, the front lines, and I have macros for like commanding the battle. So like I usually come up
one
with
of those rare breeds. Bless you, sir.
yeah. So I like to do the battle strategy side of PvP and front lines. So I'm usually telling people, hey, we're going west, we're going east, we're going this way, that way, and coordinating the battles. I mean, I think personally doing that for me led to me getting my achievements, because I think we would have lost a lot of matches if I wasn't coordinating them, because usually there's no communication. So yeah, I'm just a big fan of PvP, and I plan on doing a lot of that to get the tombstones, and yeah, I can't wait till they also do more PvP in 6.1 when all that new stuff comes out. But yeah, that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Meagan, how important is it that you get a Doge earring?
Oh, extremely, because I've fallen in love with this piece of Bard armor. It's the tombstone, like not the super special tombstone, but the second one with the long scarf. Scarf cannot be dyed, and it is brown and green. And so having a little brown and green Doge on my ear will be perfect, and I need it. And yeah, I've mostly been doing PvP for the tombstones. In like rival wings or in anything smaller, I like to be a healer, and Sage is really fun for PvP. And but for like front lines, I like to be a bard and just stand in the very back and pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
Because tab targeting is kind of the only thing that sucks about PvP in Final Fantasy 14, because like there will be someone just wailing on you, and you'll be tab targeting like everyone in a 3-mile radius except for the guy smacking you in the face.
There's a setting for that.
Oh my god, there is?
Just
Are you about to change my life?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what is it?
Because there's there's like the default like version of your tab targeting, which I feel is like really great for PvE.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I use for PvP is the cone targeting, because the cone goes by like your proximity and like where you're looking.
Oh my
so like
god.
I'll look at that part, my enemy, and then tab, and it'll go right to like who I'm looking at and like who I'm focusing on, and it's way better for PvP. So if you're having that problem, switch to cone tabs. That's in
What's
your
that?
character settings.
Oh my god. My life is changed forever.
Yeah,
I
if
actually
you do that,
run that.
you'll enjoy it.
I actually run that by default, and it still doesn't seem as intuitive as I would like it to be. So your mileage may vary on that. Maybe you'll notice an improvement. I still have problems like that where I end up going through 6 people that are close to me versus the one person who's like right on my butt wailing on me with their katana. But
usually it's better for me if I'm healing, because then I'm used to like clicking people.
Yeah.
Because you gotta, in PvP, you can't do mouse overs. Which is an interesting change up, because when I heal, normally like in raids and stuff, I do mouse over macros for everything. And then the PvP bars are like, nope. You gotta do it as Yoshi P intended. And I'm like, I don't wanna. Okay.
Well, for myself, when it comes to this event, as far as how I've been getting the tombstones, I only have one question to ask the three of you. Tell me, for whom do you fight?
When you show up, Netflix.
Because basically the way I'm handling it is I figure, okay, we've got roughly a month until 6.1. If I do one MSQ a day, one MSQ roulette a day, that's 300 tombstones. That should get anything and everything I want. So basically, when I, if it's a work day, when I get home from work and I'm just kind of relaxing and settling down and chilling, the first thing I do is run MSQ roulette and just kind of, I'll check Twitter and stuff while MSQ roulette's going on, move my character when I have to, press buttons a few times, and it's a thing. And yeah, a month later, I'll have all the tomestones I could have wanted to get all the things I want.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's only two things I really want, and only on one character, and that's the new, dog mounts, which is every friggin' tombstone event they seem to release a new one, and then I'll scroll back through and see, okay, is there anything I missed? And I think in this particular one, they have two of the birds from Heavensward, and one of them I don't have because I either missed it or they never had them before. I care about grabbing those two things, and that's it. I have no need for the dog earring. I run Emperor's New on my entire right side on all my glamours. So
That's okay. You don't have cute ears.
I really don't.
You don't got bunny ears. You don't got cat ears. You don't even got little pointy ears.
I mean, I do run a female Makote as my alt, but I still don't like the way earrings look on them. So I just.
Oh my god, they're so cute. I love earrings on cat ears. They're adorable. They're dangly. Right now. Well, because I don't have the Shiba yet. I have a Cactar earring because it's green.
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked the way they looked on any character model. So I just kind of hide them and call it good. So I mean, all the PvP Shadowbringers glamours look really cool, but I've gotten most of those from friggin' wolf marks already. So I have no need to farm for those with the Moogle tomes. So I figure if I can grab the dog and the one bird I'm missing on my main, who's basically my mount collector, I'm good.
I am after, let's see, the Doge earring, the Doge earring, the dog mount, the Tamamo headband, so the cat ear or wolf ear headband, and the Gubu mount. And those are the main things. I'm a little disappointed that there's a whole bunch of late Allegan armor, but none of it is like caster oriented armor. So
yeah, I don't get why they just like pick and choose certain pieces every time that event goes around, and they only will grab it for certain jobs. I'm like, if you're gonna get something from that particular range, like I think one time they had like all the armor, like they had two of the armors from Drowned City of Scala, and it was just like, come on, I want to get those for the caster, but all you have is like the fending one or whatever it was. I don't know, but that kind of irritates me. It's like, pick a set of armor from like a certain specific area and just make all of them available.
Can you imagine if they made the near armor farmable through the Tombstone event and you didn't have to do the Alliance raid? Oh, man.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
There are near pieces that I still want for Bard, but like specifically queuing for it, it's going to take forever. But I love those raids. I think those are probably my favorite. What is it? 20 man
Alliance raid?
Yeah, Alliance raid. I love the music. I thought the fights were really fun. And I love the gear that comes out of it. Like, not just the 2B set, but like all of the individual gear sets are all really cool looking. I used the caster one and the healer one as like my main summoner and scholar outfits because they just look so cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I really don't have a whole lot more as far as like things I want to talk about this week. It pretty much covered just about everything. We've have like, so by my guess, April 19th is it's not official, but April 19th is the day I'm expecting 6.1 to be released. Because, oh, hey, WoW's announcing a new expansion on the same day. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm saying April 19th. That's pretty much the only reason why I'm saying April 19th at this point. Also, Mr. Happy seems to believe it's April 19th, and he tends to be pretty knowledgeable on stuff like that. So we have 2 episodes before that happens. Meagan, you need to be done with P4S by, if not by next episode, then the one after.
It better be next episode, or I'm going to murder my entire static.
Well, don't forget, we've also got another live letter on the 1st.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the date was announced for that.
Yep.
Awesome. So that means that our next episode is going to be right after that. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they translate this one.
Me too.
I think they just didn't do it because it was like the last time because it just wasn't that big of a thing. Like
A
they
lot
were
of
just,
it was a rehash of stuff they'd already said too.
yeah.
That and then in the time frame it was in, I guess they figured not a lot of people from the American side of the world would have the time to watch it.
I was up at 3 a.m. and I turned it on and I'm like, oh, they're not translating it? Okay, my 1 year of Japanese is not going to cut it for this.
Well, before we go, I guess the last question, Riri, I'd like to ask you. First off, thanks, of course, for being here. It was awesome to have you on. But was the one thing most you're looking forward to in 6.1?
In 6.1, well, I'd literally like to know what's going on with that whole Tataru adventure. And I, kind of, because I think it sounds like they're kind of laying down the groundwork for that versus like we're going right into it. So I want to figure out what's going on there. And correct me, is that is 6.1 when they start the new 24-mans?
Yep.
Because I am very excited for that because of the like lore behind it. And really getting to know, okay, what was going on with, the convocation, the 12, everything there. So yeah, that's what I'm excited for in 6.1 for sure. But I think there's so much to be excited for with, the next, all the patches and with all the next expansion content and like, where are we going to go? Is it going to be the new world? Is it Mercidia? We're all just kind of open to anything at this point now that old Mama Crystal's down.
Yeah. And what is a world without the Mama Crystal like? I mean, does that change any of the fundamental rules of things? Or is the Echo going to be impacted in any major way? These are all definitely interesting questions. Is a Warrior of Light much of a Warrior of Light anymore without Uber Echo powers? I don't know.
Hey, no one said we were losing those.
Find out on the next episode is basically what they're telling us.
What were you saying, Brandon?
I was just going to say, hey, no one said we were losing those. Don't you
No
me.
No one said we're losing them, but I'm like, what if? Because, one of the problems that WoW had in terms of plot and character development, what little there was, is the threat got bigger, 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 and your character kind of sort of became more important, and they never found a way to like kind of truly really just back down and reset and make things a little bit less big scale. It's like the threat has to be more cosmic and bigger, expansion after expansion.
Turns out there was an even bigger, more cosmic evil pulling the strings the entire time.
Don't get me fucking started on that Shadowlands cinematic. Oh my god. Anyhow.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oh man.
I think everyone's got an opinion on that. Yeah.
I think the opinion is
it's a pretty unified opinion if you have any interest in WoW lore. I'm sorry, I really try not to bash on WoW, but my god, that cinematic. But yeah, it's I'm really curious about this because for me, 6.1, and just the start of this new journey, new adventure, and some of these new quest lines, even the stuff that's even just the Omega stuff and some of the other storylines that they're playing the seeds for and all that, it almost feels like a Realm Reborn again, in terms of like you really don't know exactly where things are going, and so there's some of this just kind of smaller side stuff, and it's going to mean bigger and huge things later, and you'll just have to wait and see what it is. And I think it's going to create a lot of room for discussion and speculation. It's like, ooh, what does this stuff about the 12 raid mean, and what do you think this is setting up for a future expansion and stuff, and just that kind of talk and excitement and stuff like that is stuff I really dig. So I agree with you, Riri, that the lore stuff is definitely big for me as well.
I'm excited.
I think it's for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm excited to have adventures with Graha.
I bet you are.
We're finally going. We're going on an adventure.
Hey, let's go check out the Sea of Clouds. Oops.
I don't understand how you could dislike him. Like, you're soulless. I'm sorry. He's the best boy.
You do realize that 95% of that is just to annoy you, right?
And it's working.
I know. That's why I keep doing it.
Don't bully poor Gorilla because he loves you.
Well, let's.
Sorry. I ship Graha with the Warrior of Light. I don't care who's Warrior of Light. I don't care what Warrior of Light. Just like he loves the Warrior of Light, and I want him to be happy.
If you want to be part of the Graha fan club, you can email the president.
I mean, yeah, I probably would be, but still.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are the president of the Graha fan club. Not that you're in a small company. There are thousands upon millions of people that are right there with you.
I saw an adorable fan comic on Twitter of somebody running into Graha for the first time. He's like, oh, I've seen so much fan art of you.
The leader of my FC literally has a Graha Deki Mura, whatever you call it.
See, I'm not
I don't know if that's good if you've only seen fan art, because it's going to be some question. You're going to think some weird things about how Graha is.
True. They're going to be like, where's your husband?
Impression?
Where's your slutty clothes?
I mean, it can't be any worse than all the fan art of Y'shtola.
I've seen the art. I've seen the art on the.
I have a theory that they gave Graha such complicated clothes so that we would all draw him shirtless.
It's a fair theory. All right, let's wrap up here. Riri, once again, thank you for being on. It's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to gambling and winning or losing millions with you again in the near future. We definitely must play Triple Triad for Gil. It must be
for
a thing.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely have to and get maybe a nice tournament going. But yeah, it's been great, and definitely thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so I know you don't do much as far as like social media and stuff like that, but if there's any info you want to give as far as like the site for where people can find info on the stuff you do, or where people can find your venue, or where they can find you server wise, any info you want to toss out there to promote your stuff, feel free to take your moment.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm more of a pop-up casino, so, no real set schedule. But if you look on the party finder on the Crystal DC, usually weekends, either in the morning or at night, you just check it. If you see my name, stop by and have some fun. And it'll be under Riri's VIP Casino. 1 to 20 mils, what you'll see the advertise at, and just stop by.
Awesome. Meagan, where can people find you on the internet?
All my stuff is linked from my Twitter, which is at CatMomMeagan. That's Meagan. And if you want to see, I've been making silly doodles about my experience in my static. Because that's what's going on with me right now. I've also got a link to my webtoon and my Tumblr where I post arts.
Awesome. And Brandon, how about you?
Just head to twitter.com/thebmat. My URL there on my profile is a Linktree link that has links to all of my creative writing outlets and to my 2 podcasts, including this one and also +5 to Hit, where Ro tries to either drive me insane, murder me, or force me to make pacts with otherworldly eldritch beings. Take your pick.
That is true. That is the thing. And the next episode of +5 to Hit is recording in a couple days, and I'm looking forward to that. I'll mention more about that on my own Twitter handle, which is RowWCR. I'm also involved in a couple other podcasts that pop up sporadically once in a while. Right now, they're not on any set schedule, but I do still talk about WoW sometimes, even though you did hear me bash it. I'm still interested in talking about from here and there, so check out the Rolling Restart. if you want to hear a bit more about WoW. And if you played this mobile game called Hearthstone, my Hearthstone podcast went on a hiatus for the better part of 8 or 9 months. I'm bringing it back in time for the year set rotation, so you can check out Hearth Casual if you are into Hearthstone as well. As for this show, you can email us at apodcastreborn@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter at A Podcast Reborn. Again, the Twitter for the three of us, Cat Mom Meagan, the BMAT, and RoWCR for myself. The theme for our show is Alex Moukala's Imagined Boss theme for Endwalker. Do check out his YouTube channel for more great music. A link to it can be found in the notes for this podcast. And of course, that music and any other FF14 derivative music you hear on the show belongs to Square Enix. No copyright infringement is intended. That is going to do it for episode 10. We have survived double digits, a podcast milestone, if I do say so myself. Here's to at least 10 more, if not 100 more. So, for Meagan, for Brandon, for Riri, and of course, as always, for Butterscotch, this is Brian Black. Until next time, may your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon.
Why is it always April 20th in the Crystarium nowadays? Because the Exarch is permanently stoned.
Oh my god. And I'll kill you. How dare you? How dare you?
Victory! I almost apologized up front, but I'm not sorry at all.
Poor Graha fans.
Oh my god, me and an army of 1,000 cat girls and boys will descend upon you.
Bring it.
Talk to you next time, folks.